In the heart of the Wei Kingdom, where cherry blossoms danced in the gentle breeze and the rivers sang sweet melodies, there lived a princess named Wei Tianhua, affectionately known as Sweet Flower. Her beauty was the stuff of legends, with long ebony hair that cascaded like a waterfall, skin as radiant as the moonlight, and eyes that sparkled like the stars. The people of Wei adored her, not just for her looks, but for her kind heart and unwavering spirit. Tianhua was not just a princess. She was a beacon of hope and joy for her kingdom. Among her many admirers, there was one who held a special place in her heart, General Wang Qianlin. He was tall and strong, with a physique that spoke of countless hours of training and a face that could make even the coldest of hearts melt. They had been best friends since childhood, their bond forged in the innocence of youth. They played in the palace gardens, shared secrets under the ancient willow tree, and vowed to always be there for each other, no matter the circumstances. As they grew older, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. General Wang was not only a brilliant strategist, but also a master of martial arts, earning him respect and admiration throughout the kingdom. He was known for his courage and tactical brilliance, leading his troops with honor and integrity. Despite his many responsibilities, he always made time for Tianhua, and she cherished every moment spent by his side. Their love story was one of promises and dreams. They often spoke of the future, envisioning a life together once the war that loomed over their kingdom came to an end. They promised to unite as family, to love each other fiercely until the end of their days. Tianhua knew in her heart that Wang Qianlin was her soulmate, and she could not imagine a life without him. But fate had other plans. One fateful day, news arrived that the Qin army was advancing toward Wei. The kingdom was in peril, and General Wang was called upon to lead an army of 10,000 men to defend their homeland. As he prepared to leave, he took Tianhua's hands in his and promised her that he would return as soon as the war was over. With a heavy heart, he gifted her his beloved flute, a symbol of his vow to come back to her. In return, she gave him her delicate handkerchief, embroidered with their initials, a token of her love and a promise to wait for him. The war raged on for months, and soon it turned into years. The sounds of clashing swords and the cries of soldiers echoed through the kingdom, and Tianhua's heart grew heavy with worry. Every day she would stand on the palace balcony, gazing at the horizon, hoping to catch a glimpse of her beloved returning home. She would clutch the handkerchief tightly, whispering her love into the fabric, hoping that somehow it would reach him. As time passed, the weight of uncertainty began to consume her. She poured her heart into her embroidery, stitching beautiful patterns that reminded her of their childhood, but every poke of the needle sent a shiver of dread through her. One day, as she worked on a particularly intricate piece, she accidentally pricked her finger. The sharp pain was nothing compared to the ache in her heart, and she felt an overwhelming sense of foreboding wash over her. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The seasons changed, but Tianhua's hope remained steadfast. Yet deep down she sensed that something was terribly wrong. The news from the front lines grew grim, and whispers of losses began to circulate through the kingdom. Then, one fateful afternoon, a messenger arrived at the palace, his face pale and his eyes filled with sorrow. He bore the news that shattered Tianhua's world. General Wang Qianlin had fallen in battle, his life extinguished while bravely defending their kingdom. The words echoed in her mind, and she felt as though the ground had been pulled from beneath her feet. Tianhua's heart shattered into a million pieces. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face as the weight of her grief enveloped her. She could hardly breathe, the pain so profound that it felt as if she would drown in her sorrow. For 3 days and 3 nights, she refused to eat, her heart heavy with despair. She cried until her eyes were swollen and her voice was hoarse, mourning the love she had lost and the future that would never be. The once vibrant princess became a shadow of her former self. The laughter that once filled the palace halls was replaced by an unbearable silence. She wandered the gardens where they had played, the willow tree standing as a silent witness to their love. The flute he had given her lay untouched, a haunting reminder of the promises they had made. In her heart, she knew that their love story had come to a tragic end, but the memory of General Wang would forever be etched in her soul, a bittersweet melody that played in the quiet moments of her solitude. Each night, as the stars twinkled above, she would sit beneath the ancient willow tree, clutching the flute to her chest, feeling the cool breeze carry whispers of his laughter and the warmth of his embrace. The world around her continued to bloom with life, but to Tianhua it felt as though all color had drained from her existence. Days turned into weeks, and the kingdom began to heal from the wounds of war, but Tianhua remained trapped in her grief. She often found herself wandering through the cherry blossom trees, their delicate petals fluttering to the ground like memories lost in time. The vibrant pinks and whites seemed to mock her sorrow, a reminder of the beauty that life still held, yet she felt unable to partake in it. The people of Wei, who once looked to her for guidance and inspiration, now saw a ghost of the princess they adored. They whispered among themselves, their hearts heavy with concern for their sweet flower. They remembered her laughter, her kindness, and her unwavering spirit, but now she was a mere shadow of her former self, her eyes dulled by the weight of loss. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Tianhua sat by the riverbank, the water reflecting the fading light. She took a deep breath, inhaling the fragrant blossoms that surrounded her, and closed her eyes, allowing her thoughts to drift to General Wang. She imagined him standing beside her, his strong hand clasping hers, his voice reassuring her that everything would be all right. "Qin Lin," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle lapping of the water. "I miss you so much. I don't know how to live without you." In that moment, she felt a flicker of warmth in her chest, a sensation she hadn't experienced since his departure. It was as if his spirit was with her, guiding her through the darkness. She opened her eyes and gazed at the stars, feeling a connection to him that transcended the physical realm. Determined to honor his memory, Tianhua resolved to channel her grief into something meaningful. She began to visit the families of fallen soldiers, offering them comfort and support, sharing her own pain to help them heal. She organized gatherings where the people could come together to remember their loved ones, to share stories of bravery and sacrifice, and to celebrate the lives that had been lost. As she poured herself into her work, the kingdom began to see glimpses of the princess they once knew. Her laughter, though still tinged with sadness, began to return. The people admired her resilience, and slowly the vibrant spirit of Wei Tianhua began to resurface. One day, as she stood before a gathering of the kingdom's citizens, she spoke of love, loss, and the importance of cherishing those who remain. "Though my heart aches for my beloved General Wang Qianlin," she said, her voice steady, "I know he would want us to live fully, to love fiercely, and to support one another in times of sorrow." The crowd erupted in applause, their hearts swelling with admiration for their princess. They could see the strength in her vulnerability, the beauty in her grief, and the hope that began to blossom anew. Yet, even as she found purpose in her pain, there were still moments when the longing for General Wang would wash over her like a tide, threatening to pull her under. In those quiet hours of the night, she would sit by the river, the flute resting in her hands, and play the soft melodies that he had once played for her. Each note was a prayer, a tribute to the love they had shared, and a reminder that he would always be a part of her. As the seasons changed, so did Tianhua. She learned to carry her grief with grace, transforming it into a source of strength. The cherry blossoms continued to bloom, and with each petal that fell, she felt a little more of her heart begin to heal. She would always miss General Wang, but she also understood that love, in its purest form, never truly dies. In the heart of the Wei Kingdom, where cherry blossoms danced in the gentle breeze and the rivers sang sweet melodies, a princess named Wei Tianhua began to forge a new path, a path that honored her past while embracing the future. And though she would forever carry the memory of her beloved General Wang Qianlin, she knew that their love story was not just one of loss, but also of resilience, hope, and the enduring bonds that connect us all. In the next lifetime, the world had transformed, yet the essence of love remained unchanged. The Wei Kingdom had evolved into a bustling town, filled with vibrant markets and lively streets. Among the throngs of people was a girl named Wei Tianhua, a name that echoed through the ages. She was not a princess this time, but an ordinary girl with a beauty that turned heads, long, flowing hair that shimmered like silk, a smile that could brighten the darkest days, and eyes that held the wisdom of the stars. Tianhua lived a simple life, helping her family in their flower shop, where the air was always fragrant with blossoms. She would often wander through the town, gathering flowers for her father to sell, her heart light and carefree. Yet, deep within her, there was a lingering sense of something missing, a whisper of a love that felt just out of reach. In this lifetime, General Wang Qianlin was no longer a soldier but a scholar, a man of intellect and wisdom. He spent his days in the town's grand library, surrounded by ancient texts and scrolls, his mind always seeking knowledge. With his tall stature and gentle demeanor, he was admired by many, but his heart remained untouched, waiting for the one who could truly see him. One fateful day, as Tianhua gathered flowers near the library, she stumbled upon a group of scholars engaged in a lively debate. Intrigued, she paused to listen, her heart racing as she heard a familiar voice among them. It was General Wang, his words flowing like poetry, captivating everyone around him. She felt an inexplicable pull toward him, as if fate had woven their paths together once more. As the debate concluded, the scholars dispersed, and Tianhua found herself standing before Wang Qianlin. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, time stood still. A spark ignited between them, a connection that transcended the boundaries of their current lives. "Hello," she said softly, her cheeks flushing with warmth. "I couldn't help but listen. Your words are beautiful." Wang Qianlin smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest. "Thank you. I believe that knowledge should be shared, just as beauty should be appreciated. And you, my lady, have a gift for seeing the beauty in the world." They began to talk, their conversation flowing effortlessly as they shared their dreams, their passions, and their thoughts on life. Tianhua found herself enchanted by his intellect and kindness, while Wang Qianlin was captivated by her spirit and warmth. They spent hours together, wandering through the town, exploring the gardens, and sharing stories beneath the cherry blossom trees. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. They would meet at the library, where Wang would teach Tianhua about the ancient texts, and she would share her knowledge of flowers and their meanings. Each moment spent together felt like a dance, a rhythm that resonated with the very core of their beings. But as their love blossomed, shadows of the past began to loom. Wang Qianlin felt an unshakable sense of déjà vu, as if he had lived this life before. He often found himself staring into the distance, haunted by memories he couldn't quite grasp. Meanwhile, Tianhua experienced fleeting dreams of a life filled with laughter, love, and loss, a life that felt achingly familiar. One evening, as they sat beneath the stars, the air thick with the scent of blooming cherry blossoms, Wang turned to Tianhua, his expression serious. "Do you ever feel like we've known each other for longer than this lifetime? Like our souls are intertwined in a way that defies time?" Tianhua's heart raced at his words. "I do. It's as if a part of me recognizes you, even though we've only just met. I can't explain it, but it feels profound." Wang took her hands in his gaze intense. "I believe that love transcends time and space. Perhaps we are destined to find each other, no matter the circumstances." In that moment, the world around them faded away, and they were enveloped in a cocoon of warmth and understanding. They leaned closer, their lips brushing softly as they shared their first kiss, a kiss that felt like a promise, a vow that they would never be apart again. As their love story unfolded, they faced challenges that tested their bond. There were whispers of societal expectations, disapproving glances from those who deemed their love inappropriate. Yet Tianhua and Wang Qianlin stood strong, united by a love that felt ancient and true. They knew that their connection was worth fighting for, that the love they shared was a rare treasure. One day, as they strolled through the town, they came across a festival celebrating the cherry blossom season. The streets were alive with laughter, music, and vibrant colors. In the midst of the festivities, Wang Qianlin took Tianhua's hand and led her to a quiet corner of the festival, away from the bustling crowds. The air was filled with the sweet scent of cherry blossoms, and lanterns swayed gently in the evening breeze, casting a warm glow around them. Tianhua, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, this moment feels like a dream. I want to share everything with you, my thoughts, my hopes, my heart. Tianhua's eyes sparkled with delight. And I want to share my world with you too, every flower, every story, every moment. She looked around, her heart swelling with joy. But there's something magical about this festival, isn't there? It feels like a celebration of life and love. Wang nodded, his gaze fixed on her. It is, and I want to make a promise to you here under the cherry blossoms. He knelt down, taking her hands in his. Tianhua, I vow to cherish you, to support you, and to love you in every lifetime we may have. You are my heart, my muse, and my forever. Tianhua felt tears of happiness welling in her eyes as she squeezed his hands. And I vow to stand by your side, to nurture our love, and to remember this moment, no matter what challenges we may face. You are my light, my inspiration, and my destiny. As they exchanged their vows, the festival around them seemed to fade into the background, leaving only the two of them in their own world. The cherry blossoms danced in the wind, showering them with delicate petals that felt like blessings from the universe. But as the night deepened, the reality of their world crept back in. They could hear the laughter of children and the distant sound of music, but there were also murmurs of disapproval from those who believed their love was forbidden. Whispers of class differences and societal norms threatened to cast a shadow over their happiness. As the cherry blossoms swirled around them, their moment of bliss was abruptly interrupted by the harsh reality of their circumstances. Wang Qianlin's heart sank as he recalled the promise made to him by his parents long ago, a promise that bound him to Pa Taolan, the mayor's daughter. The weight of that obligation pressed heavily upon him, a chain that threatened to shackle his heart. Tianhua, sensing the shift in his demeanor, furrowed her brow. What's wrong, Qianlin? You seem distant. He hesitated. The words caught in his throat. How could he tell her that their love, so pure and vibrant, was overshadowed by the expectations of a world that dictated their paths? Tianhua, he began slowly, there's something I need to share with you. It's about my family and my future. Her heart raced, a sense of foreboding creeping in. What is it? Wang took a deep breath, steeling himself. I have been promised to Pa Taolan since we were children. It was an arrangement made by our families, and my parents expect me to honor it. The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, suffocating the joy that had enveloped them moments before. Tianhua's eyes widened, and a wave of disbelief washed over her. But you don't love her. You love me. I know, he replied, anguish etched across his face. But love is not always enough to break the bonds of duty. My family's reputation, their standing in the community, it all weighs heavily on me. I don't want to hurt you, but I fear I may have no choice. Tianhua felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. So what does this mean for us? Are we destined to be apart, to live lives that are not our own? Wang Qianlin took her hands, his grip firm yet gentle. I refuse to accept that fate. I want to fight for us, for our love. But I need your help. We must find a way to convince my family that our love is worth more than any arrangement. Determination ignited within Tianhua. Then we will fight together. Love should never be bound by societal expectations. We will show them that our connection is real, that it transcends any obligation. As they stood beneath the cherry blossoms, a renewed sense of purpose filled the air. They spent the following days devising a plan, gathering support from their friends and allies in the town. They spoke to the townsfolk, sharing their story and the depth of their love, hoping to sway public opinion in their favor. However, as their efforts gained momentum, so did the whispers of disapproval. The mayor's daughter, Pa Taolan, was not one to take such a challenge lightly. She had grown up in the shadow of her family's expectations, and the thought of losing Wang Qianlin to an ordinary girl ignited a fierce determination within her. Pa Taolan approached Wang's parents, painting a picture of scandal and disgrace. If he chooses her, it will bring shame upon our families, she warned. You must remind him of his duty, or he will bring ruin to us all. Wang's parents, already apprehensive about their son's growing attachment to Tianhua, were quick to act. They summoned him to their home, their expressions grave. Qianlin, his father began, his voice stern, you must understand the importance of your engagement to Pa Taolan. It is a matter of family honor. But father, Wang protested, his heart racing, I cannot marry her. My heart belongs to Tianhua. She is my true love. His mother interjected, her voice laced with concern. You are a scholar, Qianlin. You must think of your future, of the legacy you will leave behind. Pa Taolan is a suitable match, her family is influential, and together you bring prosperity to our name.